Hey, welcome to Playing for Keeps, the show where we take a deep dive into emotional intelligence, sex, love, adult attachment theory, mental health, therapy, and everything in between that creates great relationships. Your host, DJ, is a certified life coach and emotional intelligence practitioner. She's here to be of service to all the listeners interested in love and relationship. Now, here's your host, DJ.
Hey everybody, it's your girl DJ with Playing for Keeps podcast, and today we have a special guest, Mr. Dominic Cruz. He is on a mission to help young men and women recover from their breakups so that they can be more at peace and be fulfilled to find hope in relationships again. Dominic thought of helping others once he realized that sharing his stories was helping other people. Today, he continues to help young men and women with his YouTube channel and his new book, 10 Simple Tips to Get Over Your Ex. Today, he is here to speak on the dating topics of dating and breakups in the pandemic, walking away, patterns and cycles of a breakup, red flags in dating and relationships, and online dating. Hey, Mr. Dominic Cruz, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you, DJ?
I am doing all right. I'm struggling a little bit, but I'm doing okay.
No, I know it's election year. I know it's election, and it's getting everybody up in.
Everybody's going crazy trying to figure out what's going on, stressing who's going to be the next president. I don't know. Is this the first time that it's dragged on this long? I'm not sure.
There's been a lot of talks about the 2000 election that's gone for like 36 days. I believe that's because it was that close, and it was more. I think they were waiting on the results with Florida at the time. I think that was a really key battleground state at the time.
You taught me something new, and I'm sure a few other listeners something new.
Don't take my whole word for it. I mean, I'm just saying research it. I mean, I just, I just want to make sure that I'm not trying to like give like inaccurate information, because I hate saying things that's not true. So
got you. I had a friend calling this morning, cursing and going off. She was so upset. Why the ballots ain't counting? It's electronic. I'm like, I don't know, girl. I'm sure this is the most anybody has turned out in a long time. So there's no telling.
Yeah.
But anyway, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about your journey. You are a dating coach. How long have you been a dating coach? Why did you get started? How did you get started? All of that good stuff.
Well, it all started in 2000. I was in a relationship where it was off and on, off and on. And, I actually told the story. I have a YouTube video coming out about, how I almost got a restraining order from that relationship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And when you watch the video, it's not as bad as like what people would think it will be, but
okay.
But I started it, in 2016, where I started watching these videos. I was damaged. I was hurt. It was like painful. And it wasn't so much from the relationship. It was more the rejection of trying to get back with them. And it was basically a bruised ego. So I started watching videos on how to get over an ex, also how to get an ex back, which I don't know. When you go through those cycles, it's like crazy. You know that you're going crazy, but you are. And I started watching these videos to help me out. And then I started discovering I want to help people out through my journey. I wanted to help people. I want to teach others, what I'm experiencing, because I know what I'm experiencing right now. It's interesting, but it's something that I can teach others so they can avoid the same mistakes that I made. And then I didn't really become the dating coach until 2018. Because it all started with my YouTube brand, which is still one of my main focuses right now. And now, it just led me to making videos, and I'm, still making videos. I got a video coming out every day of the month. And here I am today, teaching people, how to handle breakups, how to start dating again. I have a friend that he is tired of being that guy that just goes around sleeping around. I'm just like, wow. So, but
This guy's actually tired of that.
you know, because there's the guys who find themselves and they want more than just, you know. So it just kind of led to me helping guys with all those things, and I help women out with these situations as well. So
okay. So I had a question for you off of what you just said, kind of me making that comment. When a guy gets to that point of I'm tired of just sleeping around, you know what I'm saying? I'm tired of not really building something genuine with one person. Like, what point do they get to?
really, it just comes down like this, they're just doing the same patterns over and over and over. When you recognize that you're doing the same patterns over and over, that like the game is that easy for you and stuff like that, a lot there will be some guys that will feel differently, and they're just like, they want something different, they want change, they want something more than just, you know, hang out and, you know, hook up. That's it. And I'm not saying this for every guy, because I know there's some guys that just like to go out there and have fun all the time. They want stuff like that. But there are some guys out there that just want, they want more. So it really comes down to that guy, you know, when's that breaking point, you know, and that he wants more, because sooner or later, if he's keeping doing the same pattern, just going out, hanging out, hooking up with different women and stuff like that over and over and over and over again, you're going to see it as like, he'll see it, as, dude, I'm doing the same thing over.
Right.
I don't, it's like you do too much of one thing, it becomes unhealthy for you.
It really does sometimes, depending on what it is. That is very true. You know, touching on your situation, like with your dating situation, that kind of was like the breaking point for you. What helped you the most walk away? Like you said, you want to talk about walking away. What did it for you? You know, I know you said you watched a lot of videos and things like that. And I know the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is for similar reasons. But what did it for you? What helped you walk away? And how do you maintain that? Because, you know, you can walk away, but...
True. And I was going to bring that.
Right.
Let me just say that it's good to walk away, because you have a clear sense of yourself and you actually start to better respect for yourself. But to maintain it is one of the hardest things to do, because that person that you love deeply is they come back, and then, you know, they just want to test the waters, right? And they'll come back after a rebound relationship is over and stuff like that, and they just want to test the waters until they can find something else, or they want to move on to something different, right? Yeah. So, but what did it for me is that when I realized that there was one day that I got fed up, because I remember that me and my ex at the time, we were talking. I was like trying to work things out, and I'm like, and I remember in that office when I was working, I was like, damn, I feel like this is like the same thing going over and over and over. And then, but I wanted to ignore that because it was her at the time. So now, then it was, I realized I was being strung along, because every time I try to make it work, it was like, all right, I'm done, dude. This is stupid. Like, I'm tired of being strung along. It just like you see a respect for yourself.
Right.
I made the decision just to walk away. It wasn't easy to do, but when I did that, it kind of got a little chaotic. But you know, the good side of it is that I ignored all of it.
Yo, let me answer. No, you're good. So you said, no, you're good. So you said you ignored all of it. Now, mind you, when you ignore all of it, that's usually when the ex starts doing crazy shit to really pull you back in. Like, what? How do you ignore that when you're finally in a way getting that attention that you wanted?
Let me tell you, I remember I was writing a note. Basically, it was a Twitter message. And it was basically saying, I'm letting you go. No, it wasn't now. I think it was Twitter. I think. But it was basically saying, hey, I love you, but I'm letting you go, because if it's not going to work, it's not going to work, right? And then right after that, and I was so glad I had friend support. So
That's the thing. Go ahead.
so I'm getting a phone call, another one. In the words of DJ Khaled, another one, another one, another one. It got up to 26 times. I
Wow.
remember it like it was yesterday. And because like when I can remember this so vividly, it was like the pivotal moment that my life was going to start changing. And, I could remember, like, I just remember it all. And then it was just very interesting that I was ignoring it, ignoring it, ignoring it. And then, of course, we stopped talking after 2 months, started talking again a little bit. It was weird. It was weird for a few months. Next thing you know, this honestly, this girl goes Casper status. But it didn't matter for me because like I was already dating other women anyway, so I didn't really care.
Okay. So that push-pull dynamic,
Oof.
like in relationships, could you go into detail just about that and talk about just how unhealthy that is, like
Oh,
and
it's
how easy it is to get caught up in that, especially like kind of what you were just talking about. Because like, okay, she called 26 times. It sounds crazy as shit, right? But come on now, you when you like, okay, she's calling all those times again. Like I kind of said, I know like it's crazy, but at the same time, this was kind of the attention that not like to that extent, but this was the attention you were craving for in the relationship. So that
yes.
push pull dynamic, once you decide to pull away, you're the one who's chasing, and then once you decide to turn around and walk away because they're not doing what they're supposed to do, then they start chasing. So it's because you just
It's very interesting
right.
because when they were doing that, when she was doing that, my friend was telling me, ignore, dude, ignore. It's not about getting back together. He was absolutely right. It wasn't about to get back together. And I told this to all the people that I've coached in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Look, if they're look, it doesn't take 30 days to work something out. It doesn't take 30 days to get back together, because really it does only take 24 hours, less than 24 hours to get back together. It should only take that much. Because if I need that much time to think about being back in a relationship with you, then I shouldn't be in a relationship with you at all. So that push-pull dynamic, it is very unhealthy. And like I didn't see it at the time. I had my friends see it for me. And the more I look at it, the more it was like, I get it. I totally get it. It was right there smacking my face. And if I was alone, I would have probably picked up after 10 times.
I mean, sometimes it just be like that. Now, let me ask you this: do you believe, um, in the ways that we act like toward, like how why we get into those dynamics? Do you think it's due to childhood traumas, or like the little T traumas that we may go through, or how we attach to like adult figures?
Yeah,
Do you believe in that? Or
absolutely.
why?
I do believe that how you were raised, how your parents were raised, how they raised you, it really does come down to like how you handle relationships. Like your relationship with your parents is how you have your relationships with other people. Now, mind you that there was a lot of stories about, guys who were dating women that were raised fatherless, and that played a huge role because that played a huge role in their relationship because they projected. There was projections. There was just so many things. There was just so many things that were very unhealthy in the relationship. And I think it gets resolved when you come to acceptance, when you come to accept your childhood trauma, when you know that you experienced this and you learned from it and you accepted it, you're more likely going to have a better relationship in the future than just holding on, than, not addressing it and just avoiding it. Because when
Gotcha.
you avoid something like that, you don't want to face your fears. You don't want to face your past. You don't want to face something that's unsolved. You're not just hurting. This is, I just use me as an example. You're not hurting just me. You're hurting the next person that you date, and the next person that you date, your next best friend. You're hurting everyone around you.
And they ultimately, and you ultimately hurt yourself too, whether they realize it on a conscious or subconscious level.
Yep.
Well, they realize it, but they probably don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they realize that they're hurting themselves too, because eventually it clicks, whether they face it or not, that relationships don't last.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, you know, if you find yourself, going through the same type of people that you dated, they're dealing with something. The next person you dated, they're dealing with something, right? And they're dealing with something. That also comes back to you because you might need to deal with something. You need to change
Right.
something.
Absolutely.
I remember I remember like I was dating this other girl, and it was a month-long thing, but it was cool. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not complaining about it, but basically how our relationship started was basically memes, and I love memes. If you follow my Instagram, you'll be smiling all day because I post memes on my IG story, and it's entertaining. And then I remember that she wanted to she was basically gonna go back to she was moving out of California because she was going back to work on her marriage, which I didn't know that was I thought it was already divorced according to her.
Oh,
But
wow.
I know, right? And then and then basically she tried to like make sure that I was like, you're not gonna feel anything, you're not sad that I'm leaving. I'm like, no, it is what it is, it's fine. So and then she tried contacting again, and I said, with memes, and I just basically ignored because it's like no point in trying to start something. I'm just gonna walk away. So
Right.
that kind of going a little bit off topic, but going back into the whole, but that kind of thing when people like to latch on and stuff like that, it does have a lot to do with their childhood trauma and stuff like that. So
Gotcha. Okay. Now, red flags in dating and relationships. Now, I want to ask you a question on this woman who was supposed to be divorced, but she wasn't. Did you catch, now thinking back on that situation, was there any red flags while dating that woman? Or was it you guys were just so focused on sending cute, funny memes to each other that you didn't catch any?
honestly, it was really more focused on just having fun.
Gotcha.
We didn't really always send memes like that. That's just how it started, and then I don't think all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden it just came out to be where we just hung out and have fun, and then we always made an experience. That's basically how the whole relationship was. And
Okay.
this is where I tell a lot of my clients, like, just focus on having fun. Like,
Okay.
you want to get, like, for the guys, I tell a woman is looking for an experience with you. If you can provide like a great experience that makes her remember you and just like said, damn, I had a great time, she's gonna want another date. She's gonna want another one and another one, and then eventually she's going to want to commit a relationship with you.
Mm-hmm.
But you just got to focus. But what needs to happen is guys just got to focus on that experience. Just focus on have fun. Like, seriously.
Got you. Okay, so while we're on that, what would you tell somebody who like over romanticizes, like they'll meet somebody and all of a sudden that this is their new boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife, and they don't focus on the aspect of having fun, they're focused on forever. What advice would you give?
That's basically like focusing on locking them down in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a person that's all about possession. So if for I don't like that people want to lock someone down because I already know it's gonna end. Like it's eventually gonna end. You're gonna waste so much time. You're not gonna waste. Excuse me. You're not gonna waste time. You're gonna you're gonna invest so much time into the wrong things that you're gonna eventually learn about it. But what I would just tell them is like really just take it one step at a time. Like literally date date the person that you're attracted to once a week. Because if you keep like pushing it, and it's less than 30 days, you're not giving any time to miss. You're not giving any time to know each other. You're really just like trying to fast forward it, and
Right. It's also unhealthy too to try to make somebody your life in the
oh
beginning, and even like as you grow, like I've learned for myself, it's not healthy to make somebody your life in a relationship either, because that creates all kinds of issues
yeah.
as well.
And I will say, if you really want the best person in your life, focus on yourself first.
Yes.
Because if you could focus on yourself and your goals and you accomplish your goals, it's gonna come to you. They're gonna come to you. But if you're not, if you're so much focusing on another person and trying to lock them down, it's not gonna end well for you. And you're gonna try to blame someone else. You're gonna try to blame the world. You're gonna try to blame God Himself. And then, you know, at the end of the day, it comes back down to you.
It does. You're absolutely right. Now, red flags in dating and relationships. Give me some red flags. Like I had one recently. I gave it on my last podcast where I was talking to this lady about my last little dating story. And the first thing this guy comes out with, mind you, he's joking, but he says, could you do me a favor? In a joking way. Now, if anybody's going to ask you to do them a favor off rip, they are testing the waters, period. That
Right.
is a red flag. So, what other red flags do you have for the audience?
I would say the red flag is like, they look at their body language, and are they being upfront with you? Are they being like clear with you? Not only is it a red flag, but how often are they on their phone when they're out with you? It's you can see it on the first dates. Like if the person's gonna spend time on their phone, clearly don't have enough respect for you. But if you keep pushing the envelope, you're ignoring those red flags. You have your rose-colored glasses on.
Right.
You're just going blindly. For people who are dating, like I always say give it 3 to 6 months to make it to make it a committed relationship.
Okay.
And I say that I can't stress that enough. Okay, because let me just say that communication has to be on point with. Not only is the respect has to the respect has to be there first. That's number one.
Right.
It has to be there first. Number two, the communication has to be there. Has to be there. Like I can't be the person that makes all the effort in communication and you're just giving me one word answers.
Right.
Because if I'm doing that and making all the effort and you're just giving me one word answers or a lack of effort, it sounds like I'm just it's a red flag on me that I'm being needy, that I want this to work. I want it to work. And I've been in that position before, and then I've learned my lesson with that whole thing. So because you never know that one day you could be you just never know that the whole communication thing and the whole respect thing, you never know, you could be that person going on a road trip with your significant other and they give you a silent treatment for 4 to 5 to 6 hours and then they want to talk to you. I'm only saying that because I've been through that.
That's a horrible feeling.
And this is why I tell all the people that I've coached in the past and all of my YouTube videos, go for your respect first. Go make sure the respect is mutual. I even said it to a client yesterday. Make sure the respect is there. I know you want to jump to the next level, homie, but
yeah,
first off, you need to continue staying on your purpose. You need to keep dating this girl once a week. You like, don't do the same thing that you do with every other girl. Like literally date her once a week and then, have fun. That's it.
and see where it goes. Exactly. Okay. Let me ask you a kind of a personal question. So for you, you said you learned that lesson. What was the quickest you jumped into a relationship and we learned what you learned from it, but what was the quickest and why, just from that personal story, why won't you do it again on a personal note? Like I know you gave a general standpoint of respect, but why?
So I'm not gonna bring up the experiences like back from like when I was like a teenager, because I don't think Actually, I'll say that the quickest I've been in a relationship with someone was 1 month.
Okay.
And what I've learned from that is you got to be patient. But not only that, you got to be patient, but you got to stop worrying that this person is not going to date you and stuff like that. You got to stop worrying that this person is going to be your girlfriend or not, because you don't know. Like, if you're so focused on trying to make it a relationship between you two, it's not going to work.
That too, and when you're so focused on trying to make a relationship with somebody, you totally forget that that person is supposed to be showing you that they're your person too. So,
Exactly.
like you said, you totally forget to look out for the respect thing because you're so focused on landing a person that you're not paying attention to what are your needs being met because you're too
Exactly.
busy. Yeah, so no, perfect advice. Perfect advice. And I have you beat. I think I jumped into a relationship in like 2 weeks in my earlier 20s, and that ended really badly. So
I'll just say that because I heard this, that if you're not, I think I've said it earlier, about you're not going to have a successful relationship if you're not going to have a successful relationship if you're not focusing on yourself. Like, let me just say this, if you can have a good relationship with yourself, respect yourself, then you're allowing other potential mates, potential partners come into your life the same exact way.
right.
So how you treat yourself is how you're basically going to treat your next relationship, and how they're going to treat you.
Exactly. And people don't really understand how deep that is. But when you do respect yourself, you move different, you talk different. So the people
Oh yeah.
who are disrespectful, they know automatically, okay, this is this person, even if they don't on if even if it's not on like a conscious level where okay, this person respects themselves, they're still gonna distance themselves because something's not gonna feel right. They're
Right.
not gonna be, you know what I'm saying? So they will distance themselves and the right people will come to you.
I do want to say that when it comes to the disrespect too, I also want to add on this. Check your emotions. Check your emotions.
That's a big fact.
Okay? Look, guys, I get it that we can get high on our emotions when it comes to, are we gonna get together? I don't know. We're gonna get together. I don't know. I don't know. Like, all these uncertainties, right? But you're not gonna have those uncertainties if you can check your emotions. When your emotions are high, your logic is flawed. And guys are actually more logical. They're very logical, more logical, while the women are emotional based. So and I like to put the two and two together, to where the guy is the head and the woman is the entire body, because she's the wind and he's the mountain. So I think that's how it goes. but I just wanted to put that out there, that that's another thing to look out for, is keep your emotions in check. So yeah.
Okay. Um, I want to dig into online dating. Like, I mean, that's what we do now. Like, right? There's like thousands of dating apps that have different things and different themes and different. This is how we meet, especially with the pandemic and stuff going on. Tell us your thoughts about online dating and what you wanted to speak on in regards to online dating. That is such just a general term for it's a lot that goes to online dating.
It is. And when it comes to online dating, it's, I know everyone thinks about the perfect message, the perfect first message.
Right.
And honestly, I know it's cliche to say just be you, right? But I would also tell people, just be your higher self. Be the person that you want to be, that you desire, that you are becoming, right? But when it comes to online dating, really just have fun. If you were thinking about a message, like your first message, open it with a GIF. I'm not kidding. Like, open it with a GIF. You're not going to always hit, but there are going to be some responses to where it'll be good in your favor.
What do you
I like
mean
to open
open
up.
it with a gift? Literally, like, do you mean literally a gift? Like, maybe I
No, not like,
have.
I'm not talking about a gift where you're receiving a gift from me. I'm talking about a gift where, those little memes that
Oh,
those little video memes that we send from Tenor. There's some Giphy, all those little things. Like
yeah,
if you
that's
open,
dope. Instead of a boring ass "Hey" or "What's up" or
no,
yo, beautiful." I mean, like, what?
there's also the other one out there that's called Hey Trouble.
Oh,
Um,
that's interesting. It's simple, but it's interesting. It's
it,
fun. I
it is
like that.
fun. It is fun.
Yeah, I like that.
So, and I know the women that are listening to this are like, oh, so Hey Trouble's a message. Oh, I'm gonna look out for that one. So,
Right. Like,
but
I never heard of that one. Okay.
but but the online dating space, it's huge right now. I mean, there's people having success with it. There's people not having success with it. I mean, some people are meant more for the for person to person interaction more than just online. So really just have fun with it. Like, it doesn't have to be so serious. It doesn't have to be complicated, because if you make it complicated, it's not gonna
It's not
the
gonna
results
work.
will be complicated.
Yeah, it's not gonna work at all. So, okay, my next question for you. Nothing you've talked about it throughout the episode, but just a little bit more in depth. What would you say is the hardest lesson? What was the hardest lesson for you within love and relationships? And then how did you learn from it and how do you apply it today?
I think the hardest lesson is, it's not letting go. It's actually accepting. That is probably the hardest one, because that's the hardest one, because you don't want to believe, because at first, before accepting, you don't want to believe that this is going to be the reality. Like, I don't have this girl anymore. I don't, like, me and this girl not together anymore. But what helped me more, and what helped me more and more and more to like accept it and actually be better, because my whole thing is be better than yesterday. And I just focus on being better. Like, okay, and how do I do that? I learn about me, right? Take a personality test, right? I like to doing those things. Like, I like to see how you know, how I fit into the world, where I can, what direction I need to go. Uh, just discovering who you are. I think I tell people this, and people say I'm crazy for this, but if I can go back and relive, that experience to where I was, broken from that relationship that I spoke about, I do it all over again. Feel it in everything. The only reason why, because I was living my best life.
Really?
Oh
I,
my God. It was so much fun. Look, even though I'm not gonna lie, I was still broken, like in a way, but when I was going out, I went out and I interacted with people. I had fun with people. I went to the bars. I hung out with the cool people. I was just going out. I was going to places that I didn't even think I was gonna do before. Like, there was just so much more that I was doing, that it was the breakup was a blessing in disguise.
you know what? I was gonna say I totally agree with you because I went through a really bad breakup too that had broken me really bad. But what I learned from it and what I gained from it, people will call me crazy because to this day I will now I'm come to terms with everything and I've accepted it. I can honestly say I love that person because I feel like for me, I learned so much about myself and
Mm-hmm.
it helped me discover me and to learn to live for myself. So I'm grateful for that relationship and now I can let it go in peace. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean, and you know what? I gotta say, the reason why we hurt so bad, uh, uh, the reason why we hurt so bad, it's not because the outcome contributed, but it's not because of the person. It's not because of the ex.
Yeah.
It's because our ego got bruised so bad
Right.
that it's just like the come up. It's just going to be a slow process to get up. It's just going to be a slow process. So the ego is so badly bruised that you're just like,
I
oh,
think the ego has so much I ask coaches all the time, do you think it has something to do with ego? And you're the first one to actually bring up ego because I was doing a podcast with another person. I forgot what topic we were talking about, but we were talking about relationships. And I brought up the point of, for me, when you're working on a goal, right? Like it's just
Mhm.
you working on that goal. So yes, you can succeed on this goal. Your ego is happy. You've done great with this goal. You met this goal. But when you're working with another person in a relationship, the what we expect, okay, we work hard at this, we work hard in the relationship, we do all the right things, it's supposed to work. And
Yeah.
then it doesn't work. So then it's, your ego does kind of get bruised. Like, what the hell happened? I did everything I was supposed to do. Why isn't it working with this motherfucker? You know what I'm saying?
It's not even, and sometimes it's not, it's out of your control because you can do
Yeah.
everything right and it still goes wrong. I do have, I do know one person, he's actually, um, I still call him my friend, but, you know, because the kind of person that I am and the kind of coach that I am, I keep it real with you. I don't tell you what you want to hear. I tell you what you need to hear.
Right.
And I'm straight up upfront and honest about it. And if you don't like what I say, then I'm sorry, but I know that you'll appreciate me later because I'm not hiding anything from you.
Right.
And he basically was, long story short, his girl and him basically were going on a break, and I was like, "That's a breakup, dude." So, but he didn't want to believe that at the time. But
Mm-hmm.
I was helping him throughout the whole thing, and I really wanted him to start living the life and start, having fun because, you're single. So, um, but things didn't turn out that way, and you know, because there were certain things that was not acceptable, you know, um, you get ghosted. So,
Mm.
so understand. Basically, to make a long story short, that one is like no matter no matter what, like if you try to do 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, it's not enough time to work on yourself completely because work on yourself takes way longer.
That's a lifelong thing. That's for the rest of your life, even when you do find
And if you're not
somebody solid.
if, if you're not really on the same page, and if
Right.
you're finding yourself working more on the relationship than on yourself, it's
That's not
gonna
the
go
right
down south.
relationship. And that's such a hard pill to swallow, kind of like what I was just saying, when you're doing all of the work. And like I said, we're taught, you do the work, you do the right thing, you get the good grades. But
Yep.
what we have to realize is that when you're that's only you, but when you're in a relationship, it's two people. And if, like what we just were talking about, if you're not going down the same path, if you don't have the same goals or ideal goals, maybe, or you don't think the same way about relationships and stuff, then it's not going to work. So that's where, the ego
It's
comes in. And yeah, like you said, sometimes it is more of your ego being hurt that it didn't work versus the actual person because you worked so hard.
and let me say, like, it's okay to be upset at your friends, like if they're not telling you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
But when the things that when the things that you needed to hear are happening in front of you, you're gonna think about what they told you.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, that's true.
like, man, that
Yeah.
motherfucker was right.
Right. That's true too. That is true. So, what projects do you have going on? Like, I know in the beginning we brought up the title of your ebook. Could you tell us a little bit about that and just everything you got going on?
Absolutely. You know what? Because I this is ebook. I honestly, it, it's called How to Be Your Own COVID Cupid in the Triumph of Love Lockdown. Okay,
Okay.
and it's a really quick ebook. It's basically just going out to date again. Um, Quick, easy, and it's a lot of fun. Honestly, it's a day by day instructions to where you can start finding the kind of person that you want.
So,
and not everyone's going to get it, but there's some people that are going to get it quick. Some people will take a while. And another project that I'm also working on is, focusing on the YouTube right now. It's gotten higher growths, and using that as well to speak more internationally and of course national.
awesome. That is what's up. Okay, and now where can the audience find you?
So if you are, you like me and you want to hear more of my stories and stuff like that, you can find me on YouTube with Mr. Dominic Cruz. Now, I will say to the audience that don't get it confused, because there is another Dominic Cruz with the K, and he's a UFC fighter. So it's going to tell you search instead for Mr. Dominic Cruz, and then you'll see my whole content up there. You can find me there, or you can go to my website, www.dominiccruz.com, or you can go to my Instagram, Mr. Dominic Cruz, and you get all the memes in the world on the IG story.
Well, Mr. Dominic Cruz, I want to thank you for coming on today. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me on, DJ. I really had a great time. It was a blast.
Glad you had a good time. I had a good time too. And I want to thank all of the listeners for tuning in today. And until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to today's show. If you liked this podcast, please download and subscribe. If there's anything you would like to talk about in regards to relationships, or would like to be a guest on the show to speak on relationships or get advice, you can always connect via social media at Playing for Keeps, or email DJ at info@p4kdating.com. Thank you for tuning in, and bye for now.